will be the luckiest.
Announcing Ghana's first unlimited photocopier leasing. Yes, from just 983 Ghana cedis, you can lease a multifunctional photocopier and print unlimited. Yes, unlimited and free paper every month. Guess what? That's not all. Toners, repairs, and maintenance all are free. And oh, I'm not kidding at all. And we cover the whole country. Yes, the whole country. What are you waiting for? Just visit us at www.valexlease.com or call 0244 644048. I repeat, or call 0244 644048. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Valex Lease, affordable document management solutions.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ghana Connect. So, fellow Ghanaians, is it welcome Wezo Akwaba or Obake? And tonight on Ghana Connect, recent debates over language inscriptions at national monuments have risked stoking dangerous ethnic and tribal divisions. A social media influencer recently complained that the Akwaba and Wezo that were used at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, without including what in Ghana means welcome, Obake, is actually not something proper that they will allow. And so we know now that the authorities have actually caved and have replaced the Wezo and Akwaba from the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park and replaced it with Obake. This small issue has since spiraled into demands for broader changes, including some who are calling to replace the Akwaba sign at the Kotoka International Airport. And Ghana Connect tonight, we ask, does such zero-sum contest over words threaten to turn national monuments into ethnic backgrounds and some of these conflicts? And it's a big conversation that people have been talking about. There are those who are warning that this risk stoking something dangerous. And in fact, if you go on X now, for the past 72 hours, actually, for the past 3 days, from Wednesday till now, and even on Facebook, and some part of mainstream media, it's become a very big conversation as to whether or not we must replace signages and the languages in which they are in the Greater Accra region, for instance, to Ghana languages. And we've heard from the Greater Accra Regional Minister, who was asked by journalists yesterday as to what she made of the controversy. And she said something that has even stoked further controversy when she said that this is Ghana land, and so it is not appropriate for certain languages to be used at certain points. I'll play the voice and other matters that have come up since on this conversation. But right about now, let's listen to these messages and then get right into the conversation.
Momo. It has made life happen in lots of good ways.
Mr. Kwanzaa, Mensaka insurance claim no.
It has put together beautiful weddings. It has filled the bellies of boys at their favorite watchy joint.
My guy, stop. Who they chop cancel these days?
It has made millions of businesses possible.
Mensaka no. We are back in business.
With just a few taps, money moves faster, easier, and safer. Momo understands the weight of your trust in us. We continuously enhance security with features like self-paying research to help you protect your money. Momo will only call you with 0244 300,000. No MTN or Momo staff will call or ask for your PIN or one-time password. Do not transfer funds to anyone whose identity you have not verified. Do not approve any prompts you have not initiated. Momo, still Munsaka.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom.
Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Temania Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Centerpoint Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
At Star Oil, we believe fuel is not just a commodity, it is a lifeline. Every cedi saved at the pump is a cedi that helps a mother send her child to school. A farmer transports food to the market, or a young entrepreneur deliver their first order. Our mission is to make fuel more accessible by offering consistently competitive prices, helping ease the financial burden on Ghanaian households. In a country where transportation costs can consume nearly a third of household income, this is not just business. It's a social responsibility. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuels for all.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. Money we define, every day and night. Mama, dada keep on hustling for the family. The luckiest. Last dance, everyone to hash. You can win some cash. You can be the luckiest with one CD, luckiest with 5,000, the luckiest. The teacher got the market woman. You can be the luckiest. Oh, the luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone. You can be the luckiest. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, yeah, for everyone. Yeah. Stars, everyone to hush. Luck is everywhere. Luck is everywhere. Oh, tell me, are you feeling lucky? Because I'm feeling lucky. Because I'm feeling like the ultimate. That we go win. If I win, you win. You could be the luckiest.
Are you clapping? Are you giving God the glory? Hallelujah! Every day you wake up shouting, my business is not moving. Customers are not coming. But look, my brother, my sister, who are you deceiving? Have you smiled today? Do you have the confidence to smile? Your face alone is chasing people away. Yeah! We all know that the problem is not a spiritual problem. The problem is a dental problem. She was saying, use Pepsodent charcoal toothpaste to remove yellow. Somebody shout amen.
Craft your smile with Pepsodent charcoal. It removes stains and whitens teeth. This advert is FDA approved.
Sasso, si come tonton preco. Sasso, si come tonton preco. Edwana drami ne buseshe. Yeah, how can see any malaria? Minya me pone me sasso spray. Every mosquito study run away. Come on, tonton preco. Sasso, mi se come tonton preco. Come tonton preco. Sasso, come tonton preco. Nani shamne die e demonstronko.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to Ghana Connect. It's a big conversation about how we name monuments and how some of the inscription, the language in which they should be on the back of this Obake welcome or even Weasel controversy?
And to Accra, the heartbeat of the nation, we say Obake. So instead of saying Akwaba, we are saying Obake. Can you say that? Obake.
Special is for the voters. Are you getting? So they have legitimate concerns. I mean, these are real concerns that needs to be addressed. And so I will support them. Why not? Welcome. With
back to the show on Ghana Connect, and a big conversation. I'm just getting a lot of messages from you who are correcting me as to the proper pronunciation. Obake, and this is the first time, in fact, within this controversy, the first time that I was actually learning of this, and we learn every day. On the show tonight, Carla Olympio is a favorite on this show. She hasn't been on for quite some time, and she's back with us today. Carla, it's good to have you connect with us.
It's great to be back. Hi.
Yes, and Kwaku Asante is also connecting with us in studio today. He's not here to speak on behalf of the Lands Ministry, but to share his own perspectives on this matter. Shandoff, it's good to have you connect with us.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, Kwaku. Always.
Henry Edufrimpong arrived in Ghana yesterday from Malta, the newly minted burger in town. Henry, it's good to have you connect with us.
Thank you very much, bro. How are you doing today?
I'm also doing great. And then Nee Solomon is PhD in marketing and tourism consultant. He has a PhD in marketing and tourism. He's also a consultant. Nee, it's good to have you connect with us. Hello, Nee. Can you unmute?
Thank you very much. I'm
brilliant.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. It's Nee Ayi Solomon, not Nee Solomon.
Yes, Nee Ayi Solomon. Great. So let me start from you, Shandoff. You speak Ghana. I don't know. Are you Ghana?
I'm partially Ghana, partially Fanti.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but I speak Ghana and I teach Ghana. I write Ghana as well.
So prior to today, did you know what the meaning of welcome was in Ghana?
I would be very honest, but for this controversy, I wouldn't have known the Ghana rendition of welcome, and it's sounding and looking so new because I've never seen it anywhere before. Like I earlier indicated, a few years ago I was teaching Ghana. No, I was an English teacher at the upper level, but at the lower level I was combining English and the local Ghana dialect. At church, for example, I read the Ghana Bible. I've joined groups to embark on evangelism in local Ghana communities. You know, I'm a bishop. I mean, all like you. I mean, we can all agree that I love the Lord more. So I have worked and lived the Ghana language. But honestly speaking, Kwaku, I never knew that Obake was the, So I wanted to, last night, I was having a conversation with my mom. I wanted to find out from her. Yeah, no, of course, typically for that matter. She's a top Ghana reader back in church. So I wanted to find out from her. And she said, she said she will have to look it up. You can imagine.
So you speak Ghana. What is the direct translation? For a lot of words can have a direct translation. If somebody say Obake.
Okay, so well and then come. Okay, there is wellness and then there is come, or well and then come. In Ghana, ba is come. So that is the only thing that appears to be true for me in that entire construction. But again, like I'm saying, I can't authoritatively speak to it. It's a surprise in my ears, and I'll do my research to find out, the veracity in that entire construction. But great. I believe it's correct.
So very briefly, because I want us to set the conversation, and I want to go to everyone and take their very brief thoughts on this. It started with a TikToker who went to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park and did a video at a signage and said that this is Ghana land. His expectation is that at least the inscription that welcomed guests and visitors would have something in Ghana, because there was welcome English, there was Akwaba, which is a can, tree, literally Akan, because a lot of Akan people use Akwaba. Then there was Wezo, which is Ewe. And he didn't see anything Ga there. And so he insisted that there must be something like that. That is a genuine call for people who live in a land who have significant concerns that their language is being whittled away.
Yeah, whittled away. I agree. When I say I agree, it is in the context that I appreciate the concern. Indeed, I understand where that sentiment may be coming from. But Kwaku, the other truth of the matter is that we need to look at how far we have come as a country, how that we have become a nationalized people, such that even though we may have distinct tribal or ethnic identities, we collectively have a national outlook. So, for example, there are some words, and I want to just touch on them in just 1 minute. For example, we have words like Akwaba. I mean, the substantive issue for debates anyway. Something like Chale. Chale is basically a Ghana word. Chale water is equally a Ghana word. Akpeteshin, for example. I don't know if you are an avid, typical consumer.
I'm a Muslim.
Tell.
I don't take alcohol.
Well, that's okay. Akpeteshin, for example, is what nationally we use in reference to hard,
gin, liquor,
and we all embrace and use it. Okay, and there has not been any, pushback whatsoever. So the point I'm making as part of my preliminary comment is that we have become nationalized in outlook. And that is why sometimes, it's a bit curious for us to begin to go into these ethnic conversations, because you see, it may look like it's just about language, but it has deeper implications. The next moment, there would be advanced conversations about how that, okay, so certain people who are also on Ghana land shouldn't do certain things, and before I realize it has exacerbated into something we do not want. So if you ask me, preliminary comment, I'll say that yes, we should retain our distinct local identities, but maintaining the status quo would certainly ensure peaceful coexistence.
Yeah, Kala, ono Ghana.
Oh, fine, Ganyo Jimmy.
Oh, Ganyo Jibo.
Oh, me no guy.
Sando, nobody asked you to come. So, okay, that's all the guy can say is what I just said. Onoga, that's it. Well, I wonder what you make of this back and forth.
So like I said, I'm half Ga and I'm half Ewe, but it is my mother's side of the family, which is Ga. So actually, the main Ghanaian language that I speak is actually Ga. And I was born in Accra, I've grown up in Accra, and like the previous speaker, I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name.
Shandov.
To be honest with you. Sorry?
Shandov,
yes. To be honest, I also have never heard this Obake. And like him, I went to ask my mother. My grandparents have passed away. I asked my mother if she'd heard it. She hadn't either. So that is a different matter. But, I agree in principle that, we should make more of an effort to promote the Ghana language in Accra. Now, I don't agree that means erasing something like Akwaba, because I agree with Shandov that, something like Akwaba has become universal. But you see, where I disagree with him is this idea that bringing up this issue to a national level is creating division. That kind of reminds me of the way that Trump's philosophy is that talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion in itself is bringing division. I don't think so. Because as a Ghana person who mainly speaks Ghana, it happens to me all the time, and everybody else I know. You go to the petrol station, hawkers, whoever, they start speaking Tree to you, fine. And you say, I don't speak Tree, right? Then they're like, hey, are you a Ghanaian? So you say, well, we can speak Ghana. And the vast majority of the time, they don't speak Ghana. I've even had shop assistants tell me things like, hey, me, that language I don't want to hear. Really? Now, if I were to move to Kumasi, I would make a huge effort to learn Tree, and no way would I tell an Ashanti person in their own land that I have no interest in learning your language. Therefore, learn mine to speak to me. No, and that needs to change.
Solomon, I wonder what you also clearly. At the risk of making too many assumptions, I think from your name, you are Ghana, perhaps speak Ghana. I wonder also what you think, because Shandov thinks that if this conversation is not geared properly, we can get to the point where we stoke very, very needless tribal tensions in the country. And Kala says, listen, this is a very simple conversation about people who are demanding what is their due.
Yeah, just like Kala, that is where I also depart from Shandov. I think that it won't escalate to that level. I think a lot of the things that the Ghana people are asking is that they are asking for a recognition of their language, and I think that we really have to go into and look at how this all started, because like everybody said, I am an academic. I work in the tourism industry, and I've been working in the industry for about 15 years now, handling tourists from all walks of life. I mean, even from when I was born, I have never heard a Ghana word, Akwaba, and I am not a Ghana scholar, but Shandov says he teaches Ghana, and perhaps if you teach the language, you may have come across it, but I think that most people are beginning to recognize the Ghana people. And I'll give a lot of credit to the new Gamanche, because for many years now, there hasn't been a Gamanche, or there hasn't been a known Gamanche. There have been several disputes and so on and so forth. So I think for everybody to hear this from the Gamanche, that now Obake is like the way to go. This is how we say welcome. For me, I feel it is refreshing, and for all of us, we are learning something new. I think that, you see, for a bigger conversation, over the years, we have all known Akwaba, globally, internationally. So washing it away will be a big of a problem, and that will raise a lot of eyebrows here and there. I am just saying that, include that at what is at the airport, if that's what people are asking for, because that's where we all come to. And for even a bigger conversation, it will shock you that when the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum was being designed, when they were doing the renovation, I won't mention name, but somebody called me and said, can you imagine, the mausoleum is in Accra, but all the symbols they are putting on the mausoleum are all Edinkra symbols, and we are in Accra. And I think that there was some conversation backdoor of a sort, and this has been sorted. And now when you go to the mausoleum, you would now see the Ghana symbols there. And this is the same mausoleum we are talking about that has Wezon and Akwaba there. So I feel that inclusion of Obake in certain important places where we have Akwaba, it shouldn't be a big problem, because like the minister, the Greater Accra Regional Minister said, this is Accra land. Maybe for a very long time, the people have been quiet, and now they are asking for what is due them, because when you get to the Tamale Airport, for example, you see something written in their language. When you get to the Kumasi Airport, you see something written in their language. So I travel a lot, and I'm just wondering, getting to Meisha Palace and seeing Obake, what would the Asante people see? Yeah, would they be happy about it or not? So these are where the conversation is going. But I don't think this will bring about any tribal tension. It's just a recognition of a local people, their language, and this even makes it, it just talks about how diversified we are as a people.
Interesting. I mean, of course, I like how cordial the conversation around this table has been. But in particular, if you go to X, a lot of comments have been made in a way that are very inflammatory. But around this table, we are keeping this conversation at the heart of this. And I'll come to you, Henry, pretty shortly. But Kwaku Asante is a historian with the University of Ghana Institute of African Studies. He will take leave of us at some point. So I want to ask a couple of questions. You are a historian. Do you sense any historicity in this slight tensions that we are seeing with the demand for languages of a certain people to be used where they are the majority and all that?
Yes, so thank you very let me get to your listeners. If you look at the issue very well, it is all about how people identify themselves within a locality. So the framing is that for many people, Greater Accra is the capital, and they think that because it is a capital, the region has lost its ethnic identity. And so therefore, it has become a crucible of various people, and that they should be allowed to practice their various culture, and also certain things ought to be nationalized. And so, therefore, they forget about the fact that the territory itself also belongs to a group of people. And this is what is fueling the tension that some people, apart from the cordial discussion we are having here, taking it to different level elsewhere. But the fact is that what people should understand is that Accra is also someone's village. For you, it is a capital. For you, as an outsider, you might think the space is for a national activity, and so therefore everybody ought to do what they want in tandem with the national way of doing things. But the territory itself also belongs to a group of people who have their value systems, who have their cultural systems, who have their family system and the way of doing things. And so therefore, they also have that right, just as you go to your hometown and then you are able to speak your language, you are able to identify with your community. That is the same way the people in Greater Accra or the Ghana people also feel that this is their land. Coming with that idea, the Ghana have a saying that Ghana land is for Ghana people. The same way is the Fanti land is for Fanti people. Asante land is for Asante people. So in tandem with these ideas, everybody, if you understand that indeed, the only problem with Greater Accra is that when you make a particular territory a capital,
exactly, and that's the point I was coming, Mr. Ankra, because unlike other regions, and of course this is not to hold forth for anybody, this is the capital of the country. In fact, Accra has become such a cosmopolitan place. I've even seen data that suggested that there are even more people from certain ethnicities that are, of course, it doesn't dispossess the fact that this is primarily a Ghana land traditionally, because Greater Accra is a political and administrative entity. It's not an ethnic thing. Greater Accra region, just like Ashanti region or anything, it's just a political administrative unit for governance. Does it make any difference that this is the capital of the country, not just the capital of a region, but the capital of the entire country? Well, it appears I've lost Nyankra, and I'll try and see if I can get him back on the line. Shandoff, I'll come to you. I see you want a couple of things to say, but Henry hasn't made any point, and I want to hear from Henry around this. Henry. Hello, Henry. Can you unmute? Well, it appears I've lost Henry also. So, Shandoff, let me hear you. I wonder what intervention you wanted to make about it, because there are those who insist that, listen, this is Greater Accra, the capital of the country, and so a couple of these things may have to take a backseat. Okay, yes, before I respond quickly, I think I've been able to get a bit of clarification. I think even the pronunciation that we are churning on this particular word is a bit erroneous. So the proper Ghana construction is Obasheshinke. So if you come here, Obasheshin means you have arrived. Kem is finally. So basically to say, Kwaku Obasheshinke, as in, finally, you are here. So from that extract, I mean, if you are extracting, it is not what we are pronouncing. Obasheshinke will now be, it's not the Obake or how we are pronouncing it, it's Obake. Bona, you see my guys, Obasheshinke, so it's Obake. Obake. Ke is basically finally or so eventually you are here. So the Obake it's not like a word on its own like the way Akwaba. It appears to be an amalgamation of a couple of words, not amalgamation. No, it is not an amalgamation at all. It is basically take it like a phrase. Okay, Wakwaba. I mean that is Akwaba, but this is you saying Obasheshinke, as in finally or eventually. You are signed while you are even pronouncing it. You have finally arrived. It's like a response to somebody who has come from a very long place. So, Obasheshinke, finally, my brother, my sister, you are here. So it is Obake. But let's get back into the substantive debate. Everyone around the table says there's no cause for alarm about inflaming anything, and that you are just. I know. I disagree. Okay, you have to, if you have studied
or read through the genesis of tribal tensions, they begin most of the time with things as little as these. Now, I have to put on record that most of the time, I even identify as a Ga. Okay, I mean, like I said, I teach Ga, I write Ga. Even you, I'm sure you know me more of a Ga than my fancy Winneba roots in the central region. So, of course, I am not against those who are calling for it. But you see, when we get to this point in our national life, somebody says that, look, this is my region, this is my hometown, therefore they're insisting that all the welcome signages should bear our language. Another person elsewhere, and I'm saying that there are a lot of words in our daily communications which have become nationalized, okay, such that if you even traveled outside of the Greater Accra region, outside of your home region, you see these words being used away from where they originated. If we are not careful, passions would inflame. People will start making demands to the effect that
I've seen the videos of certain bloggers say the Abu or like they don't respect her.
Abu. Yeah. No. As for that sentiment, it is very valid. In fact, not long ago, I was having a conversation with one of our colleagues. I don't want to mention his name. He's here. One of our colleagues about how the Gans have over the years been submerged, disrespected in quotes, and all of those. Those concerns are valid, and even how that Gans are not given the necessary accord, despite the fact that they host the capital, they drive productivity, and all of those things. Those conversations and those concerns are germane. But I'm saying that if the approach is not well thought or it's not strategic, we would get into a situation where people in other jurisdictions will also begin the argument and say that, okay, they too need some kind of recognition. And now we'll get to that point where it becomes combative, okay, such that now somebody in a particular region will say that, okay, I've also felt disrespected in that particular way. And in the insistence of their rights, it may bring the confrontations before we realize we have something on our hands that we cannot deal with. Okay, so for me, it is really about the approach. Look, I'm saying on record that I recognize that Ghana people must be duly recognized and given the needed accord, especially because, yes, we are in the Greater Accra region. But that advocacy must be constructed in such a manner that it doesn't look like a whipped up tribal sentiment or demand, because the moment it begins to look that way, I'm saying other people also have valid concerns, and more importantly, we have become a together people. A lot of words have been nationalized. If you go to the Volta region right now, I'm concluding. If you go to the Volta region, the Ashanti region, wherever you go in this country, okay, if you are describing hard liquor, hard alcohol, what do we all say? Akpeteshin. Okay, if we are not careful, people in places outside Accra will say, look, if you want to talk about hard alcohol or hard liquor, don't mention akpeteshin again. Mention what we also describe it here. These are some of the possibilities. Before I realize there will be a news story that some people were fighting in a drinking spot. Why? Because this person said, call it akpeteshin. No, call it by my local. You see, so we have to just be careful, and that's just an example. But we have to be careful in how we go about it. Otherwise, I am sensing something that may not be kind.
And Carla, Shando's point. It's now the demand at Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. We've had a statement from the Ghana Terrorism Authority who says they are not doing that as of now because you have to consult with their mother ministry, of course. So that signage, Wezo, Akwaba, is still there. So there are those who are now saying that take the Akwaba from the airport and put Obake there. Okay, then where does it stop? Of course, I'm just trying to be very careful here so that we don't inflame passions, but there are those that Chandoff is saying it leads from one demand to the next, because in fact, under President Akufo-Addo, we actually heard from certain Ghana traditional leaders who demanded that Greater Accra region be renamed Gadangme region or something of that sort. So there are those who say that, listen, the demands are going to cascade until we get to a point where you just cannot see to those requests anymore.
So once again, I strongly disagree with Shandoff. Now, where I agree with him is that the approach is important. And again, where I disagree is that, no, I don't agree that Akwaba should be taken down. I don't agree with that, but definitely the Ghana word should be added. The Ghana word that we are all not sure existed before, but you know what? That's fine. Let them put it there. I have visited South Africa very often. South Africa, they have 11 national languages. 11. I don't know if they have other indigenous languages, but they have 11. They're all their national languages. The secondary school I went to, our school song was Understanding of Each Other. And, I have seen this, I have mentioned in the past about how, in Accra, you speak Ghana, and then people treat you like you mom, you are a stranger, right? And then people have said to me, that's tribalistic. No, there's nothing tribalistic about that. Demanding that everybody be respected equally is not tribalistic. It is not inflaming tensions. And I actually would argue it's the other way around. Ignoring people's concerns does not mean that those concerns are not there. They are there and they can bubble up. So let us be open about them. Let us reject the people who want to dismiss these concerns as unimportant. They're important concerns. You see, in Accra, you say that when you raise it, it will inflame tensions. But if somebody else in another region said it, they'll be okay with it. So, no, I think Ghanaians do very, very well. Even those of us here saying we are Ghana, at least 2 of us have said that we are only half Ghana. And, Ghana is a very, very multi-ethnic society. We live with each other. We respect each other. I mean, in fact, I even have Nigerian family as well. My siblings are half Nigerian, right? Half Yoruba, to be specific. I have found that a lot of the Nigerians I know ended up marrying people, even though they're very exposed, open, cosmopolitan, ended up marrying people from their own tribe. Ghanaians are very different. Very often we don't mind. So we do very well in that. But to say that to address these issues, to put up Ghana signage, I'm not saying take down the other names. No, I don't agree with that. There are words I agree that are universal, something like Kobolo. Everybody uses it, but Kobolo is a Ghana word, right? So I'm not saying, take down another word that is Akwaba, but definitely add the Ghana words. And to say that bringing this up is tribalistic in and of itself is like saying that when Black people in the Western world talk about racism, they're the ones being racist. No, I strongly disagree with that.
Carla, the question is, where does it stop? So that tomorrow...
It stops when we feel our language and our culture is respected. That is where it stops. That's where it stops.
So tomorrow it can be, okay, let's rename the airport after a certain person from this place. Somebody will make the same demand in Tamale or...
But quickly, I've already said that I'm not saying we should take down the Akwaba, but we should add the Ghana word. Right? I'm not saying we should take down Wezo. I mean, I'm half like I told you, right? Somebody I can't remember who said they've been to Tamale and they have their local language there. So why is it only in the Accra region that when guys want their own language to be acknowledged that it is a problem? You ask yourself.
Can I come in? Carla.
You answer me.
Carla, yes. maybe we can speak Ghana what we got po any no. Ona.
Yo, honey, what we got? Yo.
Okay. Near J.A. Keshin was small game. Ajay Amesuwe. That's not the case. Fortunately or unfortunately, though, yes, there is the organic Ghana community, it is now the national capital. So you see, it has become a nationalized space.
You see, Shadow, this is where I disagree. It's the national capital, but it belongs to a certain group of people.
But that identity is lost now.
No, listen. It's
okay. Like we say it in the English, it is cosmopolitan. So it's a mixture of several people. So we can't insist on our particular identity now because it's cosmopolitan.
When you go to London, you don't expect them to speak English because it's cosmopolitan. It's far more cosmopolitan than Accra.
Okay.
In fact, in even a greater conversation, most people are even advocating for Ghana languages. For the Ghana language to be taught in junior high schools and other places. It's all been taken out. And there's a greater conversation about the fact that the Ghana language is not even recognized. Like you're saying, it's cosmopolitan, it's a city, but there are a certain group of people that belong to that particular tribe. And they have to be given their due.
What is our capital city in Cape Coast or Elmina? Did they say that therefore Fancy should not be spoken there because the capital city was there? Or is it only in Accra?
Okay, you see, in this case, if you study the tone of the advocacy, it's not looking like there is a request for a complementary addition. No, it's not about a complementary addition. It is about an outright replacement. That if I arrive at the airport today from Australia, from Germany, wherever it is, I should be welcomed with a signage that say "Ow, Obake" instead of Akwaba.
That is radical, and we don't have to listen to those voices.
No, but that's the conversation on the table. That's actually the conversation on the table.
Oh, it can be. You see, the thing is this. So, being an academic, that's what I'm thinking. Over the years, The Ghana Tourism Authority, the Ministry of Tourism, they've not come together to write a paper and say for all the various important tourist sites in Ghana, this is how we're going to welcome the people. There is nothing like that. In fact, I have not read in any academic literature saying that even the welcome at the airport was a general consensus by a certain kind of people that sat down. I'm thinking that they chose Akwaba because, of course, we do recognize that the Akan tribe makes up to 45% to 50% of the Ghanaian population. So that we understand. They are the bigger group. And, of course, the Akan language tree is the most predominantly spoken language in Ghana. No doubt about it. So it makes sense that if you're looking for a word in the local language to represent a country, you obviously will use that. But for many years now, and I am coming from the backdrop that for many years now, the Gans themselves, the Gans themselves, we haven't been well organized. So that is how come some of these conversations has not popped up. But now, in the last 2, 3 or so 4 years, the Gans have decided and chosen a king to represent them. And you can see that the unity is coming back. And that is how come some of these conversations are beginning to pop up. And don't be surprised, a lot more of this will pop up.
Okay, shut off and please hold it there for me. Briefly, hold it there for me. We've been joined by Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. He wants to make an intervention. He wants to speak on this very raging national controversy, and then we'll get back on this matter. Doc, it's good to have you connect with us on this conversation, and it's a big privilege to hear your perspectives on this raging matter.
Thank you very much. I am concerned just about the pronunciation of the word. Now, the word has a history behind it. In the ancient times, Gans got villages outside Gamashi, in Sanwam, Pokwase, Saapeman. These are all Gan villages. And when they are going to celebrate Homowo, which they do annually, people travel from all this long distance and to come to the various quarters where they belong. Those who come to Gamashi go there. Those who go to La go to La. Those who go to Teshi go to Teshi. And they come in a group. So as they arrive in their various quarters, those living in the quarters welcome them by saying, Nya Bake, Nya Abake. Now, when it is singular, it's Obake, not Obake. No. It is a pronunciation that we have to be careful about. Nyabake means plural. Obake singular. And that Obake can be a greeting between an individual who has just arrived from foreign land or whatever the person came, and the one resident in the place. So the word is Obake, double O, Obake.
Very
so this is what you have to
Doc,
and I think,
since I have you on, I want very briefly what you make of this very important conversation, the demand that are being made by certain people in certain quarters that, listen, you are not respecting us enough, use our language where it matters the most.
No. It is a genuine demand. Genuine demand in the sense that anywhere you go in this country and you settle there, you learn the language of the indigenous. I'll give you an example. Before Ashantis came to settle in Accra, Kwawus were here. Numerous Kwawus were here. I remember I attended school with some of them, the children, some sort of the parents. Names like Anim Ado. This is a popular name, a Kwawu name. Now, they learn Gan language. They learned the Gan language. The descendants who can ask them, their parents spoke Gan fluently. They married Gan women. So I don't see anything tribal at all about the issue being raised now. It is a genuine issue, and I think must be pursued. Recognition must be given to the indigents. It is important. But I blame the leadership of the Gan state itself. The Gan state itself has no vision, and they are not strategic thinkers. Otherwise, what they are in now will not happen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nyahonya Otamaklo, for your views on this matter and for the corrections. Obake and all that. Of course, because it's a raging conversation, the pronunciation and other things will keep coming on and all that. Ni Ayi, let me ask you this. From the tourism perspective, and you are someone that has an eye on these things. So for a long time, Akwaaba has been marketed globally and is used to bring the tourism potential of the country. I remember just 2 years or 3 years ago when Ivory Coast had their when they hosted the AFCON, Akwaaba was such a big word there because the Akan population is also quite big in Ivory Coast, and so they used it in the marketing and all that. Do you sense that there's a marketing potential, or there's a downside to perhaps minimizing the use of Akwaaba and what it portends?
Yes, I mean to some extent, especially if Obake is promoted, and I can tell you for a fact that there is a trade exhibition in Nigeria which is very popular. It's called Akwaaba, organized by, I don't know whether the Nigerian Tourism Authority, but there's a trade exhibition in Nigeria called Akwaaba. So I feel that if the Obake is taken and is being used, it would actually minimize the use of the Akwaaba, obviously. But for me, being a professional tour guide, I think a lot of people have heard of Akwaaba. So it's only fair that when you meet the tourists, you can, and we do that most of the time. We tell them that, listen, when you are welcome to Accra, the people of Accra are the Ga people, and we show them how to pronounce certain words in Ga. But usually you will tell them, how do you say welcome? We say Akwaaba. But now we have a new vocabulary, Obake. So now when we meet the tourists, we'll tell them that in the Ga language, you say Obake. And once this keeps going on, and in fact, there was a question I wanted to ask Doug, but he left the line. Today, so many people have called me, and I've had pockets of conversations with very important people. So many people have called me and asked me, so when they say Obake, what do you say? What is the response? You know, and since we're all meeting the word for the first time, so I keep telling them, oh, you said, oh, you are Ladon. But then someone asks, are you sure this is the response? So I wanted to ask Doc, you know, that if they say, oh, baken or nye baken, as he said, what would be the response? Maybe Shandov is a Ga scholar here. Maybe.
Oh, this Ga scholar that cannot speak, did not know the thing. I'll come back to you, Shandov. I'll come back to you. But I've been joined by Gideon Aikwe, the acting executive secretary of the Creative Arts Agency, and on some of these matters. Mr. Aikwe, are you listening to the demands, and when are you going to comply? Because there are those who say, the government himself has spoken about this, that it needs some of these signages changed to reflect it. You just heard from Dr. Nyahotamaklo says, listen, you must respect the indigents.
Well, I think the appropriate ministry is listening, and obviously, once they have listened and listened properly, they will do the right thing. I agree with Dr. Nyahotamaklo. Obviously, I mean, this is a guideline. So it would not be too much to ask if you say that they must include our kind onto the others that are already existing.
So you are going to consult with the ministry first, and then you decide whether you are going to change some of these, because we saw some pictures that we now know were AI generated. The names have not been changed as of yet, but those consultations are ongoing. Are you going to also put out some policy that will dictate, because there are so much creative outlets across the country where some of these demands may be coming now?
Obviously, these decisions you can't take unilaterally. I mean, you need to consult and make sure that at least it's a collective decision that has been taken. It does not fall under my jurisdiction as Creative Arts Agency. It's largely under the jurisdiction of the Ghana Tourism Authority, who are supposed to market our tourism. And I believe that if they really have to do something about it, they must indeed consult the ministry itself and take that decision. But yes, as is rightly said, Obake itself is not a word; it's a phrase. Obake is a phrase. Nyebake is a phrase. It's like Akwaba. Akwaba is a phrase. It is not a word, but it's been put together to make it simple. Wako na wasayaba, Akwa Abba. Just like that. It's the same way. Obake, Ote, Obake. But you see, growing up, our parents use that sarcastically. I mean, in a very sarcasm way. Typically of children, when you are sent to go on an errand and you go and stay forever and come back in your own time, your parents looks at you with that kind of eye, or probably may even punish you later, and then they say, "Oh, back," and then you stand there stupefied and don't know what to say because you shouldn't have done that. That's how I knew it. But then, as has been explained now, and it stands to reason, of course, that Obake, it's double O, and then it's not K, it's K, as if you're speaking in nostrils. So Obake, is a typical Ghana rendition of Akwaba. And then the response is Oyuadong. There are responses that you say thank you. There are responses that also come in another form, but this is ours. And if we must insist, we have the right to, because everybody must protect their identity. And so we're not saying that drop Akwaba, which has been marketed worldwide. Everybody knows Akwaba, yes. But then add that to it, so we would know. You see, in our part of the world, our common language, official language is English. And so when you come to our local languages, we have the various ones. Elsewhere, their official language is what they speak. You can get Spanish or so. And so when they're saying welcome in Spanish, everybody understands it. So that is the difficulty that we have. It comes in different dialects when they come to our part. And so if it can be accommodated as part of the others, yes, it will be welcome. And let me also say that, you see, here in Ghana, for example, we kind of borrow each other's words along the line. It's like the comic shito that we eat. Shito itself is pepper, generally pepper. But then when you come to the cuisine, we have shito ding, which is black pepper. Now there are Akans who have come to like our food, which is the kenke and the pepper. Rather than saying shito, which means any pepper. But then if you say shito ding is a black pepper, we'd rather go for shito. Currently, I see that shito now represents the black pepper. When indeed, if you're a guy, you're talking about shito, it doesn't matter if it's red or black. If you need black pepper, you must insist that shito ding. So shito does not represent the black pepper, but it is shito ding. The same way, we have akpeteshie. Akpeteshie has been incorporated by everybody. The actual meaning of akpeteshie, initially, the way it is brewed, the way it's pungent, it smells and all that, people hide to go and drink it. It's really demeaning. I think at the point, you could even be arrested. It was illegal to sell akpeteshie because of the processes. So it's pretty demeaning for you to be seen as taking akpeteshie. So people hide to go and take it. And so they're hiding in Ghana. Una upeteshin, ahon kuduboli, ubute them and no. And that's how come it's affectation. But it's been accepted by all, you know. So I think that, yes, I mean, this shouldn't stoke any tribal conflict. It must be accepted that, just add it up to the others, and it's beautiful. You know, language choices, variety of languages, and everybody gets to understand it, and then we coexist.
We coexist. I mean, it's a very, very, very great intervention that you've made there, Gideon Aikwe, acting executive secretary of the Creative Arts. As for Ghana language, whatever it is that I'll do and I'll learn the language, it's such an elite language. So, Kala, the minister must listen and must do the thing ASAP, because I think around the table there's a broad agreement. I mean, perhaps with the exception of Sandov, that this must be done and it must be done. And the agreement is that, listen, you don't have to drop Akwaba. You can add it. The words can sit side by side. You don't have to diminish one to prop one up.
Yes, not just the minister, but everybody else has to now listen to the concerns of the Ghana people. Don't dismiss them. I've seen all kind of commentary. They're being emotional. Really? Is it emotional? It's not rational to want your culture and your language to be respected in your own homeland? It's not emotional. It's perfectly rational. And it is rational for everybody, let me just say, not just the Ghana people. It's rational for people who are Ashanti, who are Fanti, who are Hausa, who are Gonja. Wherever you're from, it's rational. So just because Accra has become the capital city doesn't make it any less rational for the Ghanaians to have those concerns. It's not just the minister who has to acknowledge and respect. It is everybody else as well. And then everybody's welcome in Accra.
And then I think the agreement will be that maybe for private people, if they have a Kwaba welcome in Accra, is there any distinction that you will make, for instance, about private and public?
I don't have any problem with people saying Akwaba. I don't have any problem
with it. If you own a private shop, for instance, and you put Akwaba there, you are not obliged to put Obake there, like an airport or state-funded project or something.
Yes, but if it's a state project in Accra, there's no reason why you should ignore the Ga language and only use another word. That's the point. Don't ignore the Ga language in Accra. Don't ignore Tree in Kumasi. I mean, it wouldn't even happen. So why are we arguing about it here?
Shandov. Shandov's mic is off. We'll fix that pretty shortly, and then I can hear. Shandov, let me hear from you. Shandov,
hello. Yeah. Yes. So I still stand where I stand. Basically, in Dumono, it is true that the identity of the Ghana people. The identity of the Ghana people, all right, their true identity and outlook ought to be projected. However, I am saying that we find ourselves in a space where the Ghana community is now a cosmopolitan jurisdiction, in that we have a multiplicity of other tribes who have all now taken abode and residence here. Therefore, if you are too strong on amplifying the projection of your organic ideals,
be strong. Standoff. We must be strong.
No, I'm not saying Kala. I'm not saying you see the reason we must think twice about the strength of that advocacy is the fact that now and I mean a scenario just came to mind. I think I can run this scenario and that will be my final remark on this matter. So Kwaku, for example, if you are a landlord, okay, and you have a parcel of land or you have a property space, it's exclusive to you. But the moment you have other people renting that same space, you realize that the rules that ordinarily would have been convenient to you would have to be tweaked or aligned to accommodate every other person that has come, so that you properly give meaning to what we normally call unity in diversity. That is it. We are not only living... Look, I'm saying I teach Ghana, I write Ghana, everybody knows. But you see, you have come to a point where Accra...
Kala says they tolerated it for a long time. They are only asking for you to represent.
But that is not the advocacy. That is not the advocacy. I think we should be fair to what the demand is. The demand is not to say that have jointly Akwaba and Obake together.
Says that is extremist. Let's reject that.
But that's advocacy. I mean, but that's advocacy on social media.
You are taking an extreme position in order to justify what you're saying. You're not looking at the conciliatory.
No, it's not complimentary. The advocacy I have seen is not for a complimentary usage. Indeed, it is for a single exclusive recognition of the Ga rendition of Welcome. That is what I have
Yes,
seen.
because people are angry. So when you
But you see, you have to manage. Kala, if you don't manage the anger, I'm saying that there may be a spillover. But let me wrap up. We don't want a spillover in other places where people would now be ethnically insisting on how communication should be done because it's in their spaces. I believe that at this point we should find a way and merge all the two. Indeed, is it not beautiful to arrive at the Kotoka International Airport, and then you see a signage that reads in colorful, artworks, all back here. Next, you are seeing Akwaba and even Wezo. I mean, just to portray the fact that we are a unified people, and this is Accra, a cosmopolitan jurisdiction. That is what I think should be the way.
Okay. This is a very, very sweet conversation. If Andy Dusty had not just come into the studio right now, I would have perhaps stolen a couple of his minutes. But Andy Dusty has the library, and the library, everybody listens to the library in Accra. I wanted to go to Grandpapa Israel Lai, but Andy Dusty is blocking me. And Israel Lai will deal with Andy Dusty. So please, Andy Dusty said we should speak to Israel Lai. So we'll get Israel Lai's thoughts as a final word on this. Nia, he has made some really interesting points on this matter. So we'll speak to Andy Dusty as well. Hey, Andy Dusty, so console. I mean, to me, and get to understand how those things happen. And so, pretty shortly, when Israel joins, and then we ask Israel what exactly his view on this and how we can get, and then we can hand over to Andy Dusty to do this. The point around the table has been that Shandorf is taking an entrenched position, an extremist position, so that he can justify the points he's making, and that nobody is making that point. Kala has made that point.
My microphone.
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, please, Kwaku is misrepresenting me. I have not deliberately taken on an extremist position to advance my proposition on the matter. What I am saying is that because Accra is basically cosmopolitan and has become the habitation of people from all walks of life, whatever we project must reflect the plurality of the geographic space. That's all. But of course,
it's okay. I have the grandpapa on because Andy Dossi gave us a 2-minute dispensation for grandpapa, not you. Easy is a gunman, and he understands some of these things that is going on. Easy is going to give us briefly what he thinks because he's also been listening. Easy, the world is listening to you.
All right. So my concern had to do initially with the pronunciation. So I sent you a voice note to draw attention to the fact that it's Obake. Fortunately, we've had Dr. Nyaonya Osamaklo come to explain to us the etymology and all of that. So that's great. Now, to those who feel that, or my position in this whole debate is we should be able to accommodate Obake. So, as some others have gone ahead to say, Kala indicated that we don't have to do away with Akwaba because it's been accepted. Okay, but we can add the Obake to it. It doesn't hurt for us to have these two phrases so that you explain to people what it means. And what I enjoy about the conversation that's going on is that we are having to hear Obake, a new phrase, and we're explaining to people what it means. This is what culture and tourism is about. So these are my submissions on the matter. We can accommodate, we should be able to accommodate the Obake, just as the Ga people have been very accommodating of the different tribes and cultures that have found themselves in Accra. It's not too much to ask.
Too much to ask for. Thank you very much, Israel Lai. And that said, Obake to Andy Dusty, who is up next with the library. And let me say a big thank you to Kala Olympio. Always a delight to listen to you on this platform. Thank you, Kala Olympio. And thank you also very much to Ni Ayi Solomon, who also joined us on this important conversation. Then Kwaku Asante of a few of your messages. Obake, the Ghana state is gathering up. Our rich traditions and roots will be restored and preserved. Ekome Femo Noya. This is New Ordine Astokroja in Tema West. This one says, good evening, Ghana Connect. The idea of Accra is a national capital, so the Ghana demand is weird. It's not there. If it is not then our national language, English, should be used to welcome people, not Akwaba. That is your view. Neo-Do in Tema says, I totally agree with the minister. It's about time the Ghana people are given the deserved respect. And then Gloria, listening in Bawe, says, please, okay, you also have a correction of the pronunciation. And then this final one says, I agree with the lady. Absolutely. That is Carla. I am a Gan and my kids are half Gan. My son went to Kumasi for 2-week work trip and he was mocked for not speaking Chi, even though he told them he speaks Gan. Actually, he was warned not to speak English in so that is your message also. Thank you very much for connecting, and I'll see you again same time tomorrow. Andy Dusty is up next with one of the best on